Welcome back to Mixology Hacks, my lovely friends. It's been a while, but I'm back, and yes, it seems I kind of can't get to a schedule, but I'm working on it. I'm working. I promise we'll get in some kind of a normal speed. So for the moment of time, I'm probably gonna keep it every other week. Just too easy on myself around Christmas and all the craziness which is gonna come on Just Shake or Steer. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you entertained, okay? So today it's gonna be a fairly quick video, I presume. But saying that, if you're new to the channel, just so you know, Mixology Hacks explore all the techniques we're using behind the bar before we prepare a cocktail for ourselves at home. Or if you work in a professional bar and you prepare pre-batch or ingredients, infusions, cooking, and anything which goes behind the bar. So videos on this channel, it's never been planned to be very quick. We take as much time as we need because you go step by step through everything. You can pause, rewind, go back, watch in your own time. This channel, it's more about to teach you how to prepare properly your ingredients so you can create some wonderful cocktails at home, or maybe pick up some tips for the bar you work in and go and implement these tips, okay? So it's been a quite busy for me. If you don't watch Just Shake or Steer, if you never watch my cocktail channel, make sure you subscribe there so you can see some cocktails. But if you miss the news, I've been a little bit in and out of the country, going to Athens Bar Show because I was part of Glassology finals for a glass design. So if you want to find out more, go check my updates on Just Shake or Steer. I'm not going to waste your time here, because here, my friends, it's all about preparing ingredients for a cocktails. And today I said it's going to be probably fairly short compared to other videos, because it's going to be very simple, but it will give you the idea how you can implement this to a different variety of fortified wine, let's put it this way, because as you see in the title of the video, today we're doing a champagne syrup. And why are we doing this? Now, most of the time you open a champagne and you drink it, yeah? But sometimes it's happened, you open a champagne, you drink it, you open second one, you have a glass and you had enough. And you put it in the fridge. Even if you put a nice stopper on it, the carbonation slowly going away. So in the next few days, if you don't consume your champagne, most likely it's gonna be flat or not enough bubbly, let's say, to be called champagne and to be enjoyable as a champagne. And this is where the worst things could happen. Most of the people just gonna chuck it in a sink, throw the bottle, say, yep, I waste a little bit of money, and that's it. Same in the bars. Many bars throwing champagne or wine just because it's a flat or it's been open for a few days, maybe just a little bit, just about to start oxidizing, but it's still a good for, let's say, cooking, or in our case, preparing a syrup. And why not? You can give a new life to the champagne, new life to your wine, new life to your vermouth even, not to mention sherry. So the technique which we're using is very simple. It's basically preparing a simple syrup, but instead of water, we're gonna use champagne. The same you can do with the wine, white or red or rosé. You can do with sherries, you can do with vermouths, you can do with any fortified spirit which is low ABV and it's require kind of a consuming quicker than the actual spirits which can stay for longer, okay? So my lovely friends, before I start making, I'm gonna turn my camera as well from the top view so you can see what's happening. I will not make the whole bottle of the champagne as a syrup today, just gonna pick probably around 300 ml, something like that, just so I can put in a small bottle and use it. But if you have a full bottle and you use a lot of syrups in your cocktails, you can prepare the whole thing together, okay? So don't you worry. Just for the purpose of this video, we're gonna prepare a very small amount, and I'm gonna be using this in upcoming videos on Just Shake or Steer, so make sure you check the channel and subscribe so you can see cocktails made with the champagne syrup, okay? Right, let me turn the camera top view. Okay, So we have a scale here which we're gonna measure our champagne, and we're gonna measure obviously the sugar which we need, and of course I'm gonna need a very tiny digital scale. Now if you don't have one of those, I strongly recommend to pick one from Amazon, and since it's still Black Friday week you can pretty much find a very good deals. The reason why you need a fine scale is because it's measuring like from 0.0 whatever grams. You can measure very small amount, very precise, and the idea is because I'm gonna turn my on and I'm just gonna put it here. Hopefully you can see on the top camera, you'll see it. But we're gonna use today a little bit of citric acid and a little bit of the malic acid. Now, why are we using this? Both of these ingredients basically exist in the grapes, and in some production of the wine, even they use malic acid. I don't know how much citric acid in how many productions, but malic acid for sure, just to bring the right acidity of the wine, because depends on the grape they're using, they may need to add a little bit of malic acid, because the malic acid kind of bursts the flavor of the grape. It's giving a more power to the flavors, to put it this way, if that's the way to put it, really. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically boosting the flavors of the wine. So since we're gonna use the champagne today and we're gonna warm it up, because we need to mix it with the sugar, we may lose a little bit of this kind of a wine flavor. It's been flat. So to bring a little bit life to this champagne, we're gonna use a citric and a malic acid. In general, 1 gram of malic acid per liter, it's enough for the wine. So in this case, we're gonna use probably around 300 ml. So I'm gonna try to use maybe a half a gram of malic acid. It's gonna be pretty much kind of a, let's say, on an eye. We're gonna measure it on the precise scale, but we will not go over a gram, because you don't want to put too much of the malic acid to burst too much the flavors. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna turn on my scale and let's get a little measure. So malic acid, I'm gonna go, ooh, that's too much. So I'm gonna go with 0.5 grams. Let me just take some. Like I say, it's really good when you prepare these syrups to try to be as accurate as possible. It's not gonna make a big deal for a few kind of drops from the malic acid, but if you can be precise, it will be absolutely fantastic. So I have at the moment 0.49, which is all right. I want to go 0.5, and I'm gonna get I guess around 0.3 of the citric acid, because I don't want to push too much the citric, but I want to introduce a little bit acidity to the syrup. So that's gonna make it to 0.8, hopefully. There you go. Perfect. So now we have this ready. I can take my scale and lift. You can see how much is that. It's no, can I show you here? Yeah, it's not really much, but it will help, trust me. Get my scale away, and first thing first, we're gonna grab a small pot. This may be actually too small, so let's switch it off and put another one. Now I know this could be measured in milliliters, the wine, but when we're doing this type of syrup, it's good to work with grams, this type of measures, because we're gonna put equal. If you want to make it more rich, you can put more sugar, but I suggest stick to 1-to-1 ratio, because you're already gonna have some sugar inside in the wine, naturally. And of course you don't want to make it over sweet. You want to preserve the flavor of the champagne or the wine you're using, or the sherry or the port, vermouth, anything, whatever you're using. Okay, so I'm gonna start pouring. It's totally flat, this champagne. That was the whole purpose of it. I wanted to show you that you can save and you can do much more things with your champagne or a wine than just put it in the sink, okay? Right, I'm gonna go, there we go. That's showing 302 grams, but let's call it 300 grams, okay? We have probably around 150 left in the bottle, which I'm not bothered. I can put this in the sink because all I need is just a little bit of syrup. Bear in mind it's a homemade syrup, shelf life could vary, depends on the fridge you're using, but on the safe side it'll be a week, maybe maximum 2, and we're gonna increase this shelf life today with a very simple trick which you're gonna see shortly. So I can remove my wine, reset my scale. I probably should have bought better scale because that needs to turn off and on to reset it. It's driving me absolutely crazy, but hey, we're learning from our mistakes, okay? So there you go. Now, sugar choice. Entirely up to you. Since it's a wine, since it's white, it's champagne, I'll be using it in a cocktails which is more lighter. So they won't be, let's say, dark spirits. It may be, but I'll tend to use this type of syrup in a cocktails which is with a light spirit. Could be a vodka, could be a gin, could be a light rum, could be cachaça, could be a pisco, which is very good, and we're gonna do that. For example, if you do a pisco sour, instead of using a simple sugar syrup, use champagne or a wine syrup. This is gonna enhance the flavors of the pisco because it's already made from grape, okay? So I'm gonna get the same amount of caster sugar. Now, if you want a more rich syrup and to be darker, to use it with the dark spirits, I suggest use Demerara sugar, okay? Don't go more darker than this, like for example Muscovado dark sugar, because this is going to introduce another total different flavor to the syrup, and basically it's going to break up the wine and it'll be just a Muscovado sugar syrup, because this type of sugar, it's more strong on flavor than the actual wine. You can use it probably with red wine, but not with any of the whites. So I'm going to use caster sugar, and I'm going to get precise around 300 grams as well. So it's kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. I hope I have enough in this pack, but I think I do. So let's see. There we go. 303. Kind of a nail it. So that's it. We can put this away. And now what's gonna happen? I'm gonna mix the wine, or the champagne in this case, and the sugar. Now, many times you want to see syrups and they say boiled first the water, then put the sugar. Forget about that. It's absolutely fine. Let's remove this scale here. Now, this is a brand new stove, and as far as I remember, it's very loud. So I don't know how this is gonna go. Hopefully my mic is not gonna pick it up as usually happen. Let's see now. We have here a little bit. I'm just gonna move so you can see what's happening. And I need to turn it on, so I'll be back just in a second. You can hear the noise, can you? I'm sorry about that, but it will be a little noisy. So what you need to do here in this case, it's just melt the sugar with the champagne. Don't let it boil. All you need to do is just melt the sugar, and soon it's melted, you can remove it, and you can bottle it after, let's say, half an hour when it's cooled down. Depends what kind of bottle you have. My bottle sits like of a heat resistant, so I can bottle straight away and leave it to cool in the bottle. But let's see. Yeah, it's working. It's working. It's quite noisy. I mean, it's noisy for me. I hope you don't hear too much there. So make sure you stay next to it, okay? Don't go somewhere, or I'm just gonna go make coffee or something while it's boiling. No, all you need is to melt the sugar, okay? You don't want at all to have any boiled wine, okay? Just enough warm to help you dissolve the sugar faster. Of course, you can do it leave it as it is and leave it to melt overnight, or in other cases, for example, I wanted to show you today with the sauce vide, but I decided not to because I know not many of you probably have it, and it's pretty easy to put it on your kitchen stove and just do it, because in the sauce vide you can put the sugar and the champagne, put it probably around 60 degrees, leave it for an hour to melt slowly on the water bath, and it's gonna be fantastic. So if you have this equipment home, use it. But today we're going this old school way, when things like that wasn't available. So yeah, it's getting there. I'm not sure I know how to work out this thing. So let's see what's gonna happen. I'll see you in a second when it's pretty much ready to remove it from the stove, okay? Okay, I feel like I'm gonna fly here with this noise, but as you can see, it starts bubbling, so all you need to do at this moment is remove it, turn off the heat, and I really need to turn it off from the plug because it's gonna drive me crazy. Sorry guys, it's far too noisy. There you go. I don't know, you buy things like that and then you realize you buy the wrong thing. I mean, it's good for cooking, probably not for the videos. So if you have any suggestions, fire up, leave me a comment and let me know. But there you go, just to show you here, it's nice and steamy. We stop it just before start boiling, so we're not gonna break the wine. The flavor smells delicious. You have this obviously distinctive kind of aromas from the champagne, but it's just enough to break the sugar, to melt it. And while I'm stirring here, when it's still warm, we're gonna add our citric and malic acid and just gonna give it a good stir so they can incorporate inside and work their magic, enhancing the flavor of your champagne syrup. And pretty much this is it, my lovely friends. As I mentioned, I'm gonna make some videos using this syrup. We could do probably make a pisco sour. I've done it already on the channel, but just the original recipe. However, I'm gonna think about it. Now, don't forget, if you like to learn more things about mixology hacks, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Also, stay tuned because next video we're gonna make some wonderful stout syrup. Yes, you hear me well. We're gonna use beer and we're gonna create some stout syrup. The reason why is because I'm planning a lovely video for Just Shake or Stir to present to you 4, or maybe 5, but definitely 4 cocktails with beer you can kind of enjoy during the festive season. Just because it's a beer, it doesn't mean it can be used in a cocktails. And to be completely honest with you, it makes a big difference what kind of beer you're going to use. So we're going to use some IPAs, we're going to use some Pilsens, we're going to use stout in the form of syrup, we're going to use a pale ale. You see, every different beer and ale have different kind of tasting flavors, and when it's mixed properly with the spirits and it's served the right way, it delivers fantastic cocktails which you can enjoy. So if you love beer, if you love ale, if you love stout, and you want to try something new, don't forget to check Just Shake or Stir. And of course, stay tuned here so you can see how I'll be preparing my stout syrup. Now, as I mentioned, I'm just going to put a very little bit in my bottle because it's warm. They're quite good, these bottles, but I'm just going to warm up a little bit the bottle. There you go. And I'm gonna pour a little bit more. Oh, we start dripping everywhere. Let's get our towel. I don't like sugar on my bar. Right. Now, if your bottle is, for example, not heat resistant, or maybe you're scared it may go wrong when you put it, wait. Leave your syrup to cool down for half an hour and then put it in your bottle, okay? So like I mentioned, I wanted to do a small amount and I've done a little bit more, so I'm gonna have to use second bottle, but for now I'm not gonna bother you with this. I'm gonna bottle it and put it in the kitchen to cool down, then in the fridge. But before I leave you, last tip, yeah, for the day. Grab yourself a vodka, which I probably have somewhere open one, yeah. And not just like a 5-10 ml inside in the syrup. This what's gonna do, my friends. It's gonna extend the life of your syrup. So because it's a little bit of spirit, it's gonna extend the life of your syrup, so it could stay in the fridge up to 2 weeks before it starts getting, yeah, unusable. All right. So this is it from Mixology Hacks this week. I'll see you in 2 weeks time with the stout syrup. But if I decide something and I find time and I'm happy to record, I may see you next week. But definitely I'll see you in 2 weeks time. For now, stay safe. Go get your forgotten wine, vermouth, port, sherry, anything you have in the house before you decide throwing it. And just turn it to a syrup so you can use in your favorite cocktails. Stay safe and I'll see you soon with another Mixology hack. Bye bye.